On April 8th, 2023, The Owl House's finale is set to be premiered. The Owl House is nearing its end. The Owl House is nearing its end. The penultimate episode for the future has been released today, and it was a phenomenal episode. It made me cry legitimately. It was overall a very amazing episode. As I said, it was phenomenal, amazing. I loved how all of the characters had inclusions. Skara, Bartholomew, Boscha. Boscha is like, from since season 1, she hasn't had any inclusion or relevancy or impact, so it was great to see her. Kikimora too, it was epic to see her. She's my favorite character, by the way, and the spars were also amazing. However, the ending of the episode wasn't happy or sad. It was rather mysterious and threatening. The Collector stating to play a new game before snapping his fingers. And well, that leads us to the final episode of The Owl House, Watching and Dreaming. Now, this episode is also supposed to be 44 minutes plus, but I personally want this episode to be at least an hour or so. Maybe 1 hour or 55 minutes, or at the very least 52 or 53 minutes. It should be 50 minutes above. And I expect that this episode will directly get into the action. No more character build up, character inclusion, or anything like that. Straight up into the action, straight up into the game of the Collector and the evil schemes of Bellows. Speaking of Bellows, in this episode, we saw Bellows failing to sustain his body, and thus he set out to possess someone else. That someone else turned out to be Rain, who has now been turned into a puppet by the Collector. How will Bellows tie into all of this? Because we know he has manipulated the Collector into thinking that Luz and King have negative intentions, and thus the Collector has been befooled by Bellows once again and is about to play this new game of his. But what exactly is this game about, and what is the intention of the evil, manipulative, and terrifying Emperor Bellows? Well, for the Collector's game, I have one idea in my mind. Perhaps the game is about everyone in his palace. Those include Rain, the other coven heads, Ida, Lilith, King, Hooty, Odalia, who has not been turned into a puppet, and Luz, Camilla, Amity, Gus, Willow, and Hunter, all being forced to play the Collector's game. And this game is about a brawl of the residents of his palace. They will be fighting each other out, and as the fights progress on, the more gruesome and intense they get, until the Collector reveals that he is intending to finish out Luz and King, since the Collector is under the assumption that King wants to end him. Or alternatively, it could be like the game of pretend they were playing earlier, but here everyone is directed to harm Luz and King. But I feel like the first option is more likely, and that's the one that intrigues me the most. Next, what are Bellows' intentions? Since Bellows has possessed Rain, I don't think this is going to be his new permanent body. Obviously not. So what is Bellows going to do? Well, it's inevitable that he's going to die. But before his death, I can totally see him pulling a big trick. Something that just boggles the mind of the Boiling Isle residents and Luz and her friends. Hear me out. Emperor Bellows will end up possessing the Titan. Now, we have seen Bellows' possession abilities, and he can literally possess anyone. He possessed Hunter in episode 1 of season 3. Now he has possessed Rain, and I believe in the final episode, he shall be possessing the Great Titan, making it his ultimate move. A last-ditch effort to wipe out all of which kind, to wipe out all of his enemies, to wipe out the Collector. Now, I don't think Bellows will possess the Titan, if he even does that, right from the beginning of the episode or in the middle of it. I believe that at the end everything will be resolved and the Collector will figure out that King and Luz never had the intentions to harm him. And he will finally join the good guys and figure out that Rain was most likely lying. This is where the revelation will be made that Rain is possessed by none other than Emperor Bellows, who, now seeing that nobody is on his side, there's no one he can manipulate or nothing he can do, pulls out his ultimate move and ends up possessing the dead carcass of the Titan. This will shock everyone, and perhaps the Collector will tie into defeating him. We know that the Titans and the Collectors aren't at peace with each other. The Titans wiped out the kind of the Collectors, and that's why they're so resentful towards them. Heck, King's dad even locked up the Collector. But the Collector doesn't have any evil intentions. He's just lonely and wants a motherly figure and a best friend, that's all. However, what I'm saying is that in order to take down the Titan, which is being possessed by Bellows, the Collector will be important. Perhaps the Collector will provide King some powers that will allow King to grow to his Titan size and take down Bellows, who is possessing his dad, or the Collector will grant Luz magical powers. Now, she will be able to use magic without resorting to glyphs. Either of these options sound likely, but if I were to pick one, I would pick the first one. Glyphs have been a pivotal element of the show. Luz has been able to perform magic thanks to glyphs. This show, these episodes, everything was dedicated to Luz figuring out glyphs and studying magic. So I think it would kinda be wasteful if at the end she was just directly given magical powers. Like, all of these times of hard work and experience were just going to vain. So King gaining the power to grow into his original Titan shape and battling Bellows to take him down sounds much more poetic. Now, what would happen after the battle? Bellows would most likely die, but I don't think anyone would kill him. Maybe Hunter would have a word with him, something that would get on Bellows' nerves, but I don't think anyone would directly land the finishing blow. Bellows would die on his own, a sad, tragic, and painful death. A death that he deserves. Now for the other characters. What about Kikimora? What about the Hexite students? Well, I believe that Kikimora is going to be just fine. She will perhaps escape again, and the Hexite students will also be fine. But I do believe that Boscha will be on the good guy's side. We've seen that Boscha isn't exactly evil. She decided to become the president of Hexside after Principal Pump and the other teachers sacrificed themselves, and we saw that she was genuinely trying to take care of the students. And from the little conversations she had with Willow, it seems as though she's suppressing her own heart's desire and emotions to basically be a good leader. She has a distorted view on what a good leader is, and perhaps that is what is insinuating this type of behavior, the type of behavior that she is eliciting. So I can totally see Boscha being a part of the good guys. Maybe Amati will have a role in her betterment. But yeah, I believe Kikimora and the Hexite students will be fine, and Kikimora will most likely escape and be safe. Maybe when there is another continuation of the Owl House, Kikimora could be the next big antagonist. Or as I discussed in my latest short, there could be an Ida spin-off or a Golden Guard spin-off. But regardless, we should next shed light on Odalia. If my first prediction of the Collector's game being a big brawl with all the people in the palace present actually happens, Odalia and Amati could have a face-off. and that would be epic. Amity Blight versus Odalia is something that I would do anything to watch. I would love Amity to just punch her in the face. But I do believe that we will get a moment with Odalia and Amity in this episode. Since they are in such close radius with one another, it is inevitable that they will encounter each other. And now, for what the title could be indicating. If you don't know, each title of season 3 has been indicating slash signifying slash referencing something. Thanks to them, references Luz and her company. It is thanks to them that she was able to come this far, that she was able to defeat Bellows. Otherwise, if it wasn't for her friends, she would have succumbed to Bellows' lies. She would have most likely crumbled. Thanks to them could also refer to Flapjack. Since we don't know what Flapjack's pronouns are, it is possible that Flapjack is non-binary and use they them pronouns, and well, thanks to Flapjack, Hunter was brought back to life. Hunter is alive thanks to Flapjack. As I said, multiple meanings. Yeah, it has a lot of indications, meanings, and significations. For the future, references the actions of our main characters in this episode. Luz, her friends and her mom and the Hexite students are doing everything for the good of the future. Kikimora is trying to build her own empire for her future. And we also see Bellows trying to possess someone who he actually ends up doing in the shape of Rain for his future, for his survival. Now, if anyone of you would be kind enough to let me know what for the future could mean for King and the Collector, that I would be very happy, because I just can't figure out the meaning of for the future with King, Collector, and Ida, Lilith, Hooty. Perhaps their actions are also for the betterment of the future. Similarly, watching and dreaming could also have an indication, signification, meaning, what, basically stuff like that. It could refer to all the petrified witches, all the dead witches, all the people that Bellows killed or eliminated in order for his reign of terror to rise up, in order for him to be strong. It could refer to them. They are now watching and dreaming as Bellows' reign of terror has finally came to an end. Their souls can rest in peace. It could also refer to all the characters. Now that everything has been dealt with, they have nothing to worry about, nothing to fear. Everything is over. All that's left for them is to watch, dream, and live their lives peacefully. It could also have a meaning with Luz. She's now free from all the responsibilities she had. She's finally reunited with Ida, Lilith, Hooty, and all. And she and her Boiling Isles family and her human family, her mom, can all live peacefully together. They all can be free without any fear. Everything has been over. Speaking of Luz, in this episode it was made clear that Luz doesn't want to leave the human realm. So what's going to happen? Is the Collector going to unify the human realm with the demon realm? Or will Luz be traveling back and forth? Or will Camila decide to stay in the Boiling Isles with Luz? Now, if this ends up happening, Vi will also be there. Trust me. Vi is an honorary Noseda. She will definitely be there. Vi will definitely be in this episode. If she doesn't, I will cry. But yeah. Either the Collector will unify the two realms, or Luz will be traveling back and forth between these realms, or Camila will decide to live in the human realm, and by extension, Luz will be staying in the Camila will decide to stay in the demon realm, and by extension, Luz will be staying in the demon realm and the Boiling Isles. And that wraps up this video. Those are all of my predictions and theories for the Owl House's grand finale. I cannot wait for April 8th. Okay, I can, but yeah, I'm really excited for watching and dreaming. I do hope we get promos and images more so that we can speculate and theorize more. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to take care of yourself, and I'll see you all later. Bye.